I don't have any ID on me, no.
Alright, so what are you doing recording this?
I'm a journalist. I'm gathering content for a story.
What story? Where do you work?
Independent. I work for myself.
Alright, some information real quick.
Do you suspect me of committing a crime,
Yes.
deputy? What?
Right there.
I'm not trespassing.
212.
You're recording right here.
I'm allowed to. Can you get your supervisor?
You're not allowed to.
Can you get your supervisor before we have any more discussions, please?
What's your last name, Sean?
I'm gonna invoke my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
Alright, well I can also detain you if you like.
Sir, if I haven't committed a crime.
You're right here.
This is a public area. I haven't committed a crime,
That's
sir.
not. So
I'm
if
not
you're
over
recording,
there.
You were just over there. That's why I record. That's why I came back over here.
Yeah, but I'm not over there though.
The video that you have, you're recording. What is that for?
I told you I'm an independent journalist. I'm gathering content
give
for
me
a
some
story.
information.
I just told you my first name, sir. That's
I
all
need
I'm
your
comfortable
last
with
name.
giving you right now.
I need more than that.
Sir, can you get your supervisor, please?
I can, but I'm doing an interaction with you right now, and I would like.
Is this
to
a
see-
consensual interaction?
Were you recording a closed facility consensual?
I only want to ask, is this a consensual interaction?
I have no problem giving somebody my ID if they ask me for it.
I understand that, but I do. I like to exercise my rights peacefully, sir.
Okay, and I just told you.
I have a right. You can't come up to people. Go ahead.
You videotape
Mm-hmm.
a facility,
Correct.
right, that has 1 inmate, 2 law enforcement, and all types of people walking in and out of this place. You can't do that. It's like when you go to the Pentagon, when you go to a monument that says don't cross over these lines. If you're an independent journalist, you know that.
No,
Right
no,
or
no,
wrong?
no. I know that I can film anything I can see from public, sir. What would be the difference if I went on rationally?
Right.
If I went on Google Maps and I was looking at all of this facility?
That you going on Google Maps.
Yeah, that's
You
different.
standing
It's
here
the
on
same
property,
thing.
not the
I'm not
same.
on the property, sir.
You were just on the property.
I'm
Now
not. This
that
is
we're
a
talking
this
on
is the
street,
this is a public sidewalk.
Once you were on that sidewalk,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're on the property.
Okay. No.
Right.
That's a public. Your property ends at the fence, sir. Respectfully.
It doesn't end at the fence.
It does.
The property is
The private
whole
property
thing.
does. The trespassing aspect of it.
Sure.
So I would like to. I told you my first name. I told you why I'm here.
Right.
I'm not
trying.
trying.
I told you why I'm here.
I understand that, but
Right.
at this point, I'd really like to speak to a supervisor because you're talking about
If you would
detaining
like to
me,
speak- if you would like to speak to
and
the
I don't appreciate
supervisor,
that.
The encounter begins with a journalist recording outside what appears to be a correctional or law enforcement facility when a deputy approaches and immediately questions his activity. The cameraman identifies himself as an independent journalist gathering content for a story and makes it clear that he does not wish to provide additional personal information. Almost immediately, the conversation turns toward constitutional rights, with the cameraman asking whether he is suspected of committing a crime and requesting a supervisor before continuing any substantial discussion. What stands out here is the difference in how both parties view the situation from the start. The deputy appears concerned about someone filming a secure government facility, while the cameraman views himself as exercising a protected First Amendment activity from a public location. The deputy compares the situation to filming sensitive government locations and argues that certain facilities have security concerns that justify scrutiny. The cameraman disagrees and repeatedly explains that he is standing on a public sidewalk and filming only what is visible from publicly accessible areas. A debate develops over where public property ends and restricted property begins. The cameraman remains focused on his rights as a journalist, while the deputy focuses on security concerns surrounding the facility. By the end of this segment, the cameraman has made it clear that he wants supervisory involvement, while the deputy continues attempting to gather more information about his purpose and activities.
then you can call and get a supervisor to come here. All I'm trying to do.
Wouldn't
is
it
get
be the
information.
Alexandria Sheriff's
It'll
Department's
be
policy?
Whoever you would like, because I'm just trying to understand why you're here filming.
I just told you why. I'm
But
not
you're
keeping
giving
any
me
secrets from
anything
you.
else. You're not giving me anything else. So you just standing here holding a camera phone means nothing to me if you're not giving me the same respect that I'm giving you. Right? I'm sitting here talking to you. I'm sitting here trying to ask you common sense questions, right?
Yeah.
And all you keep telling me is, well, I'm invoking this,
Sir,
and
I
I'm
don't-
invoking that. You
Sir,
can
I don't
invoke
know
whatever
why.
you like.
I don't know why me invoking my rights makes you upset.
Because it's not making me upset.
Okay.
But
So
what
why
I'm
is it a
trying to-
problem?
Because you're standing here.
I have rights
And
for a reason, right?
We all have rights for
Yeah,
it.
and
But
I don't
if you're
wanna-
standing here, right? Once again, to go back to what I said the first time. If
Yeah.
you're standing here taking a video of a place that is a secure place, right? So one, you can be taking that video to try to breach the place, right? As soon as I drove off, which is what caught my eye, you turned your camera to see what was happening at this gate, right?
At which gate?
The gate that I just drove out of.
The one that opens and closes? I can't get any more information than that.
Again, why do you need that information?
I told you I'm a journalist. I'm working on a story.
What story? Give me something.
Sir, I don't want to I don't want to disclose that. I would prefer that you just don't talk to me right now.
It's too late. I'm talking to you and I'm on
Am
video.
I being detained?
Why are you being detained? Like I said
okay,
before,
if I'm not being
out the way, his car's about to come out.
If I'm not being detained, then I don't want to speak with you anymore, okay? I'm going to continue to go about my business.
Okay, well then go about your business.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It's really not that big of a deal.
It's not.
I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. You don't have anything better to do?
I do. And if a call comes out and I got to go to it,
you will go, right? Good.
That's something
good. I'm pretty sure this is my job. I'm pretty sure that the Alexandria Sheriff's Department, if I request a supervisor, you are supposed to get one.
I told you, you can call.
But why wouldn't you? It's your policy,
because you're not giving me anything. So what do you? We're good. So what are you asking for a supervisor for? Right? Oh, you got another car coming behind.
I'm okay. Thank you.
You understand?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
What am I going to tell a supervisor that you want to see them for? Just to say hi?
To try and explain to you the law and try and explain to you that the freedom of press rights.
Right, but you're not even.
You're not listening to me. I don't need credentials.
How do I understand that?
Sir, I don't need credentials. The freedom of press is.
Anybody who comes up here can just say I'm working for the press, right?
We all have freedom. We all have freedom of press, sir. Correct.
Everybody understands that.
Okay.
Once again, if you're not giving me anything besides your first name,
I don't even have to give you that, sir.
Right, you don't have to.
I don't.
But then I can call a bunch of people over here, and then we can find out with a fingerprint scanner. There's so many things that we can do.
You can't do that. That would be violating my constitutional rights. Yes.
The focus quickly shifts toward the cameraman's refusal to provide additional details about his project. The deputy repeatedly asks questions about the story being produced and why the facility is being filmed, but the cameraman declines to elaborate. This creates visible frustration because the deputy views the lack of information as suspicious, while the cameraman views his silence as a lawful exercise of his rights. The conversation becomes increasingly centered on the concept of detention. The cameraman repeatedly asks whether he is being detained and makes it clear that he does not wish to continue speaking unless legally required to do so. The deputy explains that filming a secure facility naturally attracts attention and raises concerns about potential security risks. What makes this segment important is that the disagreement begins moving away from the act of recording itself and toward broader questions about government authority and citizen privacy. The deputy argues that people who refuse to provide information naturally generate suspicion, while the cameraman argues that constitutional rights exist specifically to protect people from being compelled to answer questions without legal justification. Several attempts are made to continue the conversation voluntarily, but neither side appears satisfied with the other's explanations. By the end of this section, the deputy is still seeking information, while the cameraman remains committed to providing only the limited details he has already disclosed.
Would. So if you want to know who I am, do it then. Unless you said there was no crime. I have to have committed a crime, sir.
If I'm asking you to get off this property, if I'm asking you to stop
This is public property.
This is not public property. This is private property.
This is public property.
This is private property.
This is public property, sir.
This is private property.
Who owns it? Who's the private person who owns it?
Here looks public to you minus the sidewalk.
That visitor's entrance, the visitor's entrance.
That's why it's locked down.
I'm not back there. That's why I'm not back there,
sir. You're not back there now, but you started your video right by that gate.
But I wasn't back there, sir. I don't break the law, sir.
Started your video by that gate.
That is correct. So I was filming over that gate.
Let's not work around no nonsense, all right?
This is not nonsense. This is the facts and the law, sir.
The facts is, when I saw you, you were filming. And for you to just say that
which is a constitutionally protected activity.
For you to keep saying that sounds good on your video. So kudos to you for that. But
I just want to make sure, just in case I need to make sure that you know, so that way, if you take it to another level, we all know that you understood. Great. That's great.
Right.
I'm glad that you're not going to do that.
So you're just talking so that people that you got listening.
Sir, I didn't stop you to come over here.
You don't have
I'm not keeping you here. You're free to go.
So are you.
I understand that.
So are you.
We both are. We're free men in this country.
So
great.
Then, if I decide to stand here and be a nuisance in your video,
Great.
I decided to stand here and be a nuisance in your video.
I mean, if that's what you want to do, I'd prefer you not. I'd prefer you not.
And I prefer you not to.
Okay. There's a difference. One of us is getting paid by the taxpayers and one of us isn't, sir.
There's no difference.
There is a difference, sir. You are a public servant, sir. Please.
Right, I'm serving the public.
How, though? I'm part of the public and you're not serving me.
You're not the only person that's part of the public.
So who are you protecting? And you said this is private property? Who owns
Yes.
this then? I would like to know who owns it if it's private property.
City of Alexandria.
That's a private company?
That's a private company for this jail.
The city is a private company for the jail.
The city owns this, where you're standing.
And who? Okay,
recording.
yeah. So that means it's public. The city is a public entity, sir.
And there's also private parts in the city.
Restricted, maybe, but not private.
So then guess what? Then
Like back there, that's public. That's public property behind you, but it's restricted public property. It's 100% public property, and that's why I keep asking you to get a supervisor, because I'm sure he would explain it to you, sir.
I don't need anyone to explain it to me. I'm
gonna
to
ask.
explain it to me.
I've been trying, and you're not listening.
I listen.
I just want you to get a supervisor, so maybe he can explain it to you. And if this ever happens to you again,
I'm not wasting anybody's time.
you're wasting my time and your own time right now.
Like I said, I'm standing here enjoying the conversation I'm having with you. So
Okay,
how is
great.
that wasting your time?
Okay, I mean, I just don't think it's necessary, sir. I haven't broken.
Tensions rise after the discussion turns toward property ownership, identification requirements, and constitutional protections. The deputy argues that portions of the facility are private or restricted and attempts to explain why security concerns justify his interest in the cameraman's activity. The cameraman responds by drawing a distinction between restricted government property and private property, insisting that public ownership changes the legal analysis. What stands out here is how frequently both participants return to questions of law rather than questions of fact. The deputy emphasizes that the facility contains sensitive operations and that suspicious activity reports are taken seriously. The cameraman repeatedly counters that recording from a public area remains protected regardless of whether officials find it unusual. The conversation then shifts toward identification. The deputy suggests that there are methods available to determine a person's identity, while the cameraman argues that any attempt to force identification without a lawful basis would violate constitutional protections. Throughout this section, neither side raises their voice dramatically, but the disagreement becomes increasingly technical. The deputy focuses on practical law enforcement concerns, while the cameraman focuses on legal limitations placed on government authority. This portion matters because it establishes the legal arguments that dominate the remainder of the encounter.
In the law,
A lot of things in the world
you're,
isn't necessary,
sir,
but
you're
it's
law
happening.
enforcement. What is it?
Right.
What you came over here? Listen, I can understand. Hear me out. I understand that you have concerns about somebody who's filming the government facility, the people's facility. I understand jail security concerns. I can understand all that. I'm not saying that you shouldn't make contact with me. What I'm saying is that once you make contact and you do an investigation, and
There's no investigation that was done, sir, because you didn't give me anything to investigate.
I told you my first name.
First name.
That's more than I tell a lot of people. I'll tell you that.
That's fine, but you understand.
I decided to be a little bit nice.
That your first name is Sean. That can also be a lie. So what investigation's done?
I don't know. So what are you doing? Okay, so what is this then?
I'm standing here having a conversation with a guy named Sean.
Okay, great.
See that?
Deputy Neckles. Deputy Neckles.
Deputy Neckles.
Master deputy. What is a master deputy?
See that? The same thing. I'm a journalist.
Come on.
Exactly.
Deputy Neckles.
You understand?
I understand, Deputy Neckles. I understand. You just want to have a good time. Great. No problem.
It's the holidays. Don't you all want to have a good time?
Yes, sir. Definitely. Definitely.
Yep. I'm going to take a walk with you. Like I said, I'm going to be right here with you the whole way.
I mean,
I got nothing to do
if that's what you want to do. How would you know if you even got a call?
My radio is on.
Oh, it's on? Oh, it's underneath there? Gotcha. How long you been with the police department, Deputy Neckles?
Enough. How long you been a journalist?
Long enough.
Exactly. See, you do this all day.
I guess so. I would have told you if you would have told me.
I don't know.
How about this? I'll give you my license if you give me yours. We could swap. Why not? What's the difference?
What do you need my license for?
I want to investigate who you are.
Right.
I will give you my license, and you give me your license.
You just told me you ain't have it, so I can't trust you anymore. You already broke my trust.
Okay.
As a
I said I didn't have it on me. I said I didn't have it on me.
No, you said you don't have it.
Yeah, on me.
Now you're saying on me, so you already broke my trust.
Oh man, come on. That's ridiculous.
Of course it is. Life is ridiculous, man. What you're doing is ridiculous. What I'm doing is ridiculous.
Okay.
You can say whatever it is that you like, but I'm sitting here having a conversation with you.
Hey, I'm not. As long as you're not threatening to violate my rights.
Why would I threaten to violate your rights?
I mean, you kind of did earlier. You kind of did.
It's how you interpret things. I'm still here talking to you.
You kind of alluded to the point that I'm going to be charged with failure to ID. That
no, I gave you the options.
Yeah, those aren't options, sir.
They are options.
So
in life, you have options. Mm-hmm. Every choice that you make comes with a consequence, right?
That's correct. I believe that.
So I gave you options. If I really wanted to be whatever and call a supervisor and all that stuff, but all I'm doing is having a conversation with the man that I only know is Sean.
Okay. And I'm having a conversation with Deputy Nichols.
There you go.
Of the Alexandria Sheriff's Department.
Absolutely.
Great. Yeah. I just know the law, and I know that you can't charge me with failure to ID. You can't just go up to random people on the street.
But you're not a random person. You're
I am
videotaping a facility.
That's not a crime.
It's not a crime to you, but it's suspicious activity to me.
So is suspicious activity a crime?
Yes, it damn sure is. You've never seen somebody doing a peeping Tom?
The atmosphere changes as the discussion becomes less about filming and more about the meaning of suspicious activity. The cameraman acknowledges that officers can approach people and ask questions, but argues that suspicion alone does not automatically create legal authority to demand identification. The deputy disagrees and explains that unusual behavior around a correctional facility naturally triggers investigative interest. The conversation becomes increasingly philosophical, with both men debating where the line exists between legitimate police work and unconstitutional intrusion. What makes this segment important is that viewers see two completely different interpretations of the same event. The deputy views the filming as suspicious behavior requiring investigation, while the cameraman views it as ordinary constitutionally protected activity. Several references are made to trust, credibility, and honesty. The deputy challenges some of the cameraman's statements, while the cameraman questions the deputy's understanding of constitutional law. Despite the disagreements, both remain engaged in the conversation rather than ending it. The encounter continues in a largely civil manner, although the underlying tension becomes increasingly obvious as neither participant accepts the other's reasoning. By the end of this segment, the debate has evolved into a direct disagreement about whether suspicious activity itself constitutes criminal conduct or merely justifies further observation.
Suspicious activity?
Well, suspicious activity is not a crime, sir.
Listen.
It's not.
It comes up on our call screen as a suspicious activity.
Okay.
You've never heard it.
I'm asking you if it's a crime.
Yes, it is. When we get there.
So what's the statute?
When we get there and see somebody just looking into a place that they don't work at, one, they don't live at, two, that's suspicious activity.
So you would be charged with suspicious activity because it is a crime?
Hey,
it's not a crime, man. It's not a crime. You know that. Come on.
The activity is what gets us called out.
I understand.
Right.
But it's not a crime. It's not codified into the Virginia state statute.
It doesn't have to be codified. Once we get here and see that something is happening.
No. You need reasonable articulable suspicion that I've committed a crime. A crime. That's why it says a crime.
So then I told you about you failing to show ID. It's a crime.
That would be a secondary.
That is a summons.
Yes, I understand.
That's
secondary.
Would be me coming here and seeing.
You're wrong. You're wrong.
Activity.
You're wrong, sir.
There is it.
You're wrong. I don't want you. You're wrong. You're wrong. I don't want you to go out into the city of Alexandria with that wrong information in your head. You can't just go up to people and say, "Hey, give me your ID, or I'm going to charge you with failure to ID."
I didn't.
You basically did. That's what you're saying.
See what you're trying to do? Take what I told you. I gave you an option. I didn't say give me this. I didn't say that.
I understand. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay, I understand.
I know you do.
You're talking about an option as a way of, in my opinion, you said that it was an option as in a way to intimidate me, as to give you an ID. Why would you bring it up then? Why would you bring it up?
Because you were sitting there trying to act like whatever I was telling you had no bearing, but it did.
It doesn't, sir.
That's your feelings. That's your opinion. Once again.
Okay. It just doesn't. Failure to ID is a secondary offense. Like, for example, if you were to arrest me, for example, if you were to arrest me for trespassing, say I went over this fence and I was trespassing, and you went to arrest me for trespassing, and I didn't. Let me finish. And I didn't give you ID at that point. Then that's failure to ID, and that is a crime. I understand what failure to ID is.
Listen to everything that you're saying, and listen to the facts, right? If I'm leaving and I see somebody videotaping a secured facility, suspicious activity, ding, ding, ding. So then I come and ask you for your ID and ask you for your name, and you say, my name is Sean. I don't have my ID on me, right?
Correct.
So at that point, from me seeing the suspicious activity, then I can now start to question you for this investigation that you're talking about, right? Right?
You said there was no investigation, but okay.
I said that you were talking about, once again.
Okay, go ahead.
So pay attention to what I'm saying and what you're thinking.
Sir,
right?
this is I know the difference between a consensual encounter. This is a consensual encounter. I can walk away from you right now, and that's it.
And I told you before that this was a consensual encounter.
Okay,
right?
I understand. So why would you bring up failure to ID? So you're trying to talk around in circles, and it's not going to work with me.
I'm not talking around any circles. I'm talking to you. There's nobody here. I'm looking directly at you.
Yeah, okay.
The conversation becomes increasingly heated as both sides begin debating failure to identify laws and investigative authority. The deputy argues that suspicious circumstances can justify further inquiry, while the cameraman insists that identification requirements only arise under specific legal conditions involving actual criminal activity. What stands out here is how often both participants interrupt one another while attempting to explain their interpretations of the law. The cameraman repeatedly emphasizes that filming in public is not a crime and argues that reasonable suspicion must be tied to a specific criminal offense. The deputy maintains that the totality of the circumstances surrounding the filming is what attracted law enforcement attention in the first place. Several examples and hypothetical situations are discussed as each side attempts to illustrate its position. The cameraman warns that misunderstanding these legal standards could expose the city to liability, while the deputy expresses confidence in his understanding of the law. Throughout this section, the discussion remains focused on constitutional issues rather than personal conflict. Even when they strongly disagree, both participants continue debating legal principles rather than escalating the encounter physically. This segment matters because it represents the most detailed discussion of police authority and identification requirements found anywhere in the interaction.
Okay, and I'm looking at you.
I brought that up because I told you that there were options, right?
But they're not options.
They are options because, once again, as I said, if I'm leaving a place and see somebody videotaping a place that you're not supposed to be videotaping, that is now suspicious activity.
So you're not going to call? I'm going to call Supervisor. Do I have another phone? I'm going to call Supervisor.
I told you go ahead and do it.
I'm going to call Supervisor because you don't know what you're talking about, and you could be a liability for your city out there on the streets.
Fine. And I'll take that chance.
No, you take that chance because you have qualified immunity, but the taxpayers who would, if you were to say right now, give me your ID or your failure ID.
All you're trying to do is turn something into a circle like you just told me.
No,
I
man.
Broke it down to you.
Okay.
And you're still sitting there trying to get your point across.
There's no point in saying that it's failure to ID. You're saying that's an option. It's not an option. It's not an option.
I never said that's a failure. But I need you to stop videotaping these cars that are coming out of here.
What? Why?
Because those are private people's cars and they don't need
in public. This is public.
Right. Absolutely right.
This is the public area. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing? Nice car. Nice car.
I'm good, baby. No. Yeah, I like to hide. I hide in plain sight. Yes, sir.
The final portion of the encounter centers on whether further action is necessary. The cameraman continues challenging the deputy's position regarding identification and argues that references to failure to identify laws are misplaced in this situation. The deputy maintains that he has simply been explaining possible outcomes and insists that he is not violating anyone's rights. What makes this concluding segment important is that neither side appears to persuade the other, yet the encounter remains peaceful. The cameraman renews his request for a supervisor and argues that additional training may be needed to prevent future misunderstandings. The deputy responds by standing behind his interpretation of the situation and indicates that he is comfortable with his decisions. The discussion then briefly returns to the filming itself when the deputy asks the cameraman not to record vehicles leaving the facility. The cameraman immediately pushes back and points out that the vehicles are traveling through public areas where there is no expectation of privacy. Despite the continuing disagreement, no enforcement action occurs during the final moments of the encounter. The conversation ends with both men maintaining their original positions while the cameraman continues recording and the deputy remains nearby. The central dispute over filming, identification, and police authority is never fully resolved, but the interaction concludes without escalation or arrest. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.